Hey everybody, Braden here. Welcome back to another episode of the King's Indian Attack Speedrun. We're going to be playing against a French type of system today. G3, D5, Bishop G2, all the natural stuff. And they're going for it. They're going for queenside expansion. You know what that means? We're going for our kingside expansion. They went B5 and yeah, we could consider C4. I'm done. I am done with C4, okay? It's boring. It's not boring. It's very effective, but I'm going to let them get their crazy queenside expansion here, and we're going to get our kingside expansion. And we're just going to see who ends up with a better position. So E5. And I'll even go D4 here. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll go D4. Maybe it wasn't necessary, but I'm doing it. And I'm allowing B4. We're going. We're getting crazy up in here. All right. Let's see what happens. This looks like a very topical line actually. So I got to be careful. This looks very like almost theoretical. I want us to play something like A3 almost. I'm worried of A3 from them, but I think I can take on B4. Let's just ignore all that and go knight H2. And I'm looking at G4, G5. I'm looking at bringing this knight over. Okay, they're really trying to get me here. Do I go Queen C2? Or do I finally take? I gotta be careful. You know, that I don't just like throw the game away immediately. Let's go Queen C2. I'm not used to these types of attacks, right? So they could go poorly for me. So far, it doesn't look so bad. And if they let me, I might even play something like Bishop A3. And normally you want to play this in a circumstance where, or you want to, sorry, not, let me rephrase what I was going to say here. Normally you want to keep it on this diagonal because you're going for G4, G5 stuff, but Bishop A3 makes it kind of uncomfortable for them to castle, and that's why they play Bishop, or that's why they play A3 themselves. Wow, okay. I could go Rook B1. I like Rook B1. Just poking the bishop here. Seeing what they're going to do with it. And we have ourselves an interesting position. This is actually a very fascinating position. Do I ever go F4 or do I just start with something like G4? G4 feels good. It feels like a good move. But so does... Actually, no, that's about it. I guess there's F4 as well, but F4, maybe knight F5. G4 is kind of prophylactic, but also very offensive. Not offensive as in like it made a joke about your mother, but instead it's it could prepare G5, but it also could just be only used to prevent knight F5. So there's a few good reasons to play the move. F4, now I want to bring this knight to F3 instead, I believe. And yeah, it looks like it's about time to do so. Or do I go for F5? Because they're not really doing anything. And generally, when they don't do anything, you gotta punish them. Takes with the pawn. Let's do it. We're doing it. We're going crazy on them. Okay, with F5. We're getting our classic King's Indian attack style position. And, wow, okay, they go knight b6. Let's just leave the tension. How... Oh, okay, so they're going for knight a4, I believe. I believe that's what they're trying to do. So, if they're trying for that, this pawn might hang in the meantime. I could also go rook f3, which defends it. Rook f3 defends the pawn. Let's defend the pawn in a very strange way. But I need to find out where they're castling. If they play bishop e7, I'm more likely to play f6. I gotta be careful with these types of attacks. You know, they can always land on our face in a very bad way. Now, I'm gonna play knight f1 here. I'm not gonna do anything quite yet about this pawn on f5. I'm just gonna leave it for the moment. Because now I'm covering g5, which is nice, and I can bring the bishop to d2 if knight a4. So I am a happy boy. If I end up taking, and they take with the bishop, that's intriguing to note. Let's just play bishop d2 to start, maybe. This is an inoffensive move. Again, I'm trying to keep flexibility here. So knight e7. Wow. Now it feels like f6 feels good. Do I end up taking it with the pawn or with the rook? With the rook, I'm pretty much sacrificing the exchange there. But can I do it? So f6 takes, rook takes. Sorry, this is going to be a crazy variation. Or if they go back to c6, or knight f5 or something. Knight f5, then I just take, and if they take, then I just take on e6, and I'm extremely happy there. I think I'm just winning a piece on the spot. Yeah, let's play f6. I think we got to do it for the vine. That's an old reference. So yeah, we're going on the attack here. And this is the thing. Sometimes you get crazy positions and they're just crazy, you know? Sometimes you can't really do anything about it. You got to go into them and realize, hey, that's maybe the best option. So I think queen h7 should be good here. I think this actually just wins the rook. Knight e7 is actually a move that I missed. But I'll just take on h6. I think I should be good here. I'm up 2 pawns. I'm looking to retreat. Also, bishop g5 looks extremely strong because now they can't castle. If they castle, I win e7. And if they do nothing else, then they have to play like knight c8 here, actually. Ooh, they have to play knight c8 because they need to recapture with the knight. They could also actually wait. No, they don't have to worry because there's king takes. Okay, so they missed that. I think they missed king takes there. That was the issue. And I'll just go bishop b4 to close things down on this side of the board. It's kind of scary over there, right? I do have nightmares myself. It is very natural to have nightmares. Okay. Let's play rook takes f7. Or should I play like rook f2? I like rook f2 quite a bit. This just prevents queen c2. And I'm looking at h6 and then queen c2. Trading the queens. Where I'm just like, I'm up 2 pawns. And these pawns are beautiful. Like, I would get engaged to the pawns if I could. So rook e2. The bishop's not really doing lots. I got to be careful of some bishop g5 after queen c2. That's actually something to be concerned about. So maybe I should play something like knight f3 here. Knight f3 is a very solid move, attacking the bishop, covering g5. I'll just play it now. And if they take on g5, I'm okay biddly bo with that. And they're still trying to prevent me. Wow. Very smart people. Let's go g5 though, and now queen c2 is going to hurt. And I actually have a funny route here. So this is winning. Obviously, we are +5 here. We are up a knight, and we're up. We're just up. We're up. Okay, we're up. Well, what else do you need me to say in this position? This is not your typical type of attack, but I feel like we're doing okay. Yeah, let's go queen c2. I don't feel a need to do anything over here. It's all doing the job for me. I'm looking at just like bishop c5 and getting in on this side of the board because we're winning on this side of the board, right? If we trade everything off, we just push h7, g8. There's not really any way to stop it. It's impossible. It is impossible. So knowing that is kind of a good thing for us. How do they respond to us playing something like rook b4 and then queen b1? I'm actually not sure. Because they kind of have to respond to it, right? King b7, we always meet with bishop c5, and this just wins the knight. And here, unfortunately, I believe we are winning the knight here. And I don't think there's a single way to stop checkmate. I think we just take this. Right? We just take it and go back or not. Doesn't really matter at that point. And queen c6 check looks like it's checkmate in one more move, of course. That was a really fascinating game. And probably will have a lot of mistakes, actually. I'm going to imagine it has at least... Wow, only one mistake, apparently. But it's probably something in, like, the opening. You know, sometimes, like... whenever you play things like hyper modern openings, sometimes like online engines, which are generally going to be like lower accuracy and quality, just because you have to worry about, like, you know, it takes a lot of like computer power to run engines. So like online engines naturally are not going to be as accurate. So it might be something in the opening. But I'm just going to turn on the lines and we're going to find out together as a team. So it's talking about how c4 might be playable here. And it's actually a totally good move. I want it to not show... I don't really care about the game review as much. I just want to see the analysis board. But I guess I got to wait a little bit for it. Just because it's, I guess it's a really long game, right? So, yeah, c4 is quite good here. Ooh. c4, and the idea mainly is that we're just trying to take advantage of this diagonal, but I'm kind of sick of playing c4 every single game. You know, the problem with it is, hey, if you play c4 every single time, you're kind of just getting like a delayed English, and that's totally fine. Like, the English is a great thing to play, but I'd rather just do a run on the English at that point. But we get like Benoni positions, we get reverse Sicilians, like dragons, which is all really nice. But here we get knight bd2, c4, and I ended up castling, which all looks good, a5. And actually here I had a good option of taking on c4. And the idea is to push e4 and just completely destroy their center. Where they haven't moved a single piece. And that's kind of the thing, is whenever your opponent takes a lot of space like this, just remember, okay, we have castled our king, we have moved our bishop, we have moved our knights, and our rook is developed. Okay? I would argue all of our pieces are on good squares right now, including the rook on a1 and the bishop on c1, because generally that's where they are in these types of openings. So the fact that they keep pushing these pawns, kind of gives us what we want. So e5 is the mistake in the position, because here we should really try to open things up with moves like taking on d5. This I was a little hesitant to do, but I'm realizing that after bishop takes, we have a serious weakness we can create with d takes c4, where if they take with the bishop or the pawn, too many weaknesses at this point. Like b takes c4, I imagine, yeah, knight takes c4 is playable, which is not surprising in the slightest. The idea here is after takes, we have knight e5 or rook d1 check is supposedly okay. It's about equal, but knight e5 is just going for the kill. You're going for knight f7, you're going for bishop a8, like, I love you. I don't know. Yeah, it's extremely good here. So I should have gone for that and calculated a little bit more, realizing that, yeah, they have, this is their only developed piece is their bishop on b7, which is not even protected, right? That's kind of the problem with playing like this a little too much. And generally, this is actually a very similar line to how the King's Indian attacks can occur. So the fact that our opponent, like, I feel like they clearly had an understanding of what was going on in this opening, but they made way too many pawn moves. Right? How many pawn moves did they make in a row? I gotta see this. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 pawn moves in a row. And we're in a winning position at the end here. It's about plus 2.5. Waiting for this engine to load. Sorry about that. So e5 here, which closes things down. And the problem is, hey, when we're up in development, you don't want to close things down. You want to open the position because it springs your pieces to life. And also it kind of accentuates how weak their king is. So e5, knight e7, d4. I should have gone a4 actually here, but d4, knight c6, and we have like a normal King's Indian attack. And again, they're going to go for their b4 stuff. I think they should. And going back, I'm just going to show again that, yeah, it's about, like, it's really close to winning, if not already winning here, now that the evaluation's showing. But okay. Because I went for this closed structure, the engine's like, what are you doing, dude? Like, now it's justified everything they've done. And that's kind of where the mistakes are. So h5. And I could be looking at h6. h6 is something I'm really happy to play against. I was looking at a3 here. I think I mentioned this. One thing that I would have been concerned about is... actually, rook takes is possible now. But let's just say... Actually, no. Let's say they take like this. You could see some like knight a5 to b3s happening in the future. And that could be uncomfortable to deal with. So that's why I was just kind of like leaving their stuff over here and going for my own play. So knight h2, it's not a huge fan of because a3. So I was actually right that a3 is a huge concern because they're kind of just opening the side of the board which they're better. And that was not correct here. So queen c2, b takes c, and now it's harder to create a target for them. They only have the b file opened. And everything can be sufficiently defended. And now, where's their king going? So yeah, again here, a3 is definitely still the right way to play here. Because if we just look at everything, so let's just say I play like this move as a development. I think they can take like this and even probably take here. I don't think that would be the worst thing. I don't know if that's the most accurate, but when you see a position like this pawn's weak, they have a protected pass pawn, this is actually something to worry about. So I got to be a little bit more calm in the opening, I think, right? That's the thing that I'm really tempted to do is I want to go after them when I play something like this, this King's Indian attack. So open the position if they make too many pawn moves. Principled chess, something I should definitely follow. All right, so queen c2, a3, and yeah, now we have a very comfortable position. Rook b1, taking over the open file, which is always nice. Bishop c8, and g4. G4, the computer doesn't like, and then it slowly likes it a little bit more. The idea here, again, was like f4, f5, and also prevents knight f5, which I thought was good. Bishop d7 is the best move, and then the evaluation goes up. So I'm going to say that it actually was an okay move. I don't care what the computer thinks. f4, knight takes d4 is something I was worried about. Not here, though. But this actually works here. And the reason why is because after bishop a4... Wow. I missed this. There's bishop a4 trapping the queen. But there's a really cool move here. White to move. It's equal, but there's only one equal move, and that's queen takes c4. That's a pretty cool one. The idea here is after d takes, you don't actually take on a8. That's what most people think would happen, but no, you actually take on c4. You have knight d6 check coming. So queen a6, knight d6 check, king d8, knight takes f7 check. And this looks like it might even turn into a perpetual. That's insane. Okay, so you got to be careful. Got to be careful. Again, I should have opened the position much sooner. f5 is about equal, though. So knight a4, rook f3. Again, they have like knight takes e5 stuff, which is totally understandable. Again, generally, like when you see a king with open squares like this, you want to play moves like knight takes e5 or knight takes d4 if you can. And again, the idea here is bishop a4, but here it's not as crazy because you play knight b3. It's still kind of crazy because like that's not always a fun move to play, but that's how the position would go. Anyway, so they played bishop e7. I was considering f6 here, but I didn't like it. because then it might undermine my center a bit. And it looks like that's a correct assessment. So after takes, and like bishop d6. Now it looks like e5's coming, and if e5's coming, then d4 could come after that. And whose king is weaker? Actually, it might be me all of a sudden. So that's not something I want to do. So I played knight df1, which looks like it's perfect and correct. Bishop to d2 to defend, and also give me queen c1, knight e7, and now f6. Finally is a good move. And the idea here is, ooh, yeah, that's an obvious blunder, but after they take and take, I can also take here if I need to, if I'm ever worried. But knight f7 is something to point out, that I don't actually care if they play it, because I'm getting 2 pieces for the rook in a completely winning position. We can't take on h6 in this position, but that's okay, because after we take on f5, I mentioned in the game, bishop takes f6, we can actually take on e6 here first as well, and open things up a little bit more. I think this favors us. Maybe computer doesn't love it. I personally really liked it, but hey, apparently this is better, so no big deal. My idea here was if I take on e6 first, and then they play like, if they play f takes, then I can always go queen g6 check, and then queen takes f6, which gets my pieces a lot more active, and yeah, obviously it's winning. But okay, knight c8 takes, and yeah, that was definitely a huge mistake on their part, playing knight c8. Also, kind of just like playing this knight e7 stuff. Just it felt incorrect. The thing that they should have done is try to break down my center, and they were trying to do that by looking at the base pawn. But funnily enough, in these types of positions, when my king's widely open, it's opened quite a bit. You want to go for sacrifices in the center, but those are very hard to see and to calculate, because if you are incorrect, you're down a piece, right? And the position can open up for both sides, not just for one. So if you are underdeveloped like they were at the start, then that could also cause a lot of trouble. So knight e7 is definitely a gift for us here. And then yeah, the rest was just kind of like a normal win, nothing too crazy. And yeah, rook b4 takes, and obviously if they take here, then it's I don't see a way to stop. I guess like they can move this bishop to stop mate, but it like they pretty much just have to keep like giving things up in order to prevent this checkmate, but it's still coming anyways. That's gonna cover it for the game. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was a crazy one, with lots of mistakes on my part. Luckily, there was always like ways I can get out. I don't know if I'd see that queen takes c4, like that queen sacrifice. That's a pretty ridiculous thing to see. But yeah, I feel like that was still kind of what we want when we play the King's Indian attack. You know, craziness on both sides, just going after each other. Yeah. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. Like, generally, I strive in positions where it's like calm and balanced and boring, but these are the opposite of that. So the games are always really, really interesting and fun, but there's going to be a lot more mistakes, including from me. But hopefully it's fun regardless. That's it. I'm sorry. I've been rambling for a little bit too long. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.